They had Fauci on the Hill this week, and in retrospect, I think that my son having a cardiac arrest and passing was the fact that he was immunized and boosted. I think it played a huge part in that whole situation. Would
How
never be
so?
able
Explain this. Tell me what you.
because we had another friend of ours who had a son who was going to be a Division I pitcher, and he did the same thing. He got the vaccine and he got the booster, and all of a sudden he like had this cardiac COVID. That LeBron James's son had a cardiac arrest.
Right, but how are you linking it to the shot, though? Millions of people had the
And
shots.
there's
Times.
data that say that it had a huge effect on the age group of males, especially in that upper, like the early 20s, mid 20s, that age group of males. I think it was six. And I've looked at it. I've looked at the data, but at the same time, it's the old hindsight thing. I'm not going to
Monday morning
Monday
quarterback.
Monday morning. Well, yeah, Monday night. It doesn't matter. 'Cause
Tuesday morning quarterback.
yeah, I'm not watching the Monday night game anyway because I just don't. But I watched the Thursday. But it's at that time. You go back to when it first hit Seattle, when COVID first hit Seattle, and it hit that like nursing home, and there was like, and then it was like 30 or 40 people were dead, and then all of a sudden it was in New York, and it was like, yeah, but it was like we had it contained, and all of a sudden it was just like that movie, The Andromeda Strain. No, we don't have this thing contained. This is far from contained. And it was some scary times, man.
Yeah, it was mysterious. It was strange. I hope to God, Kev, that the data is not correct. Does not point to, because that opens up a whole other thing, Kevin. Like, had you have to weigh keeping everybody safe at the time, desperate for a vaccination.
I didn't have a choice because I couldn't work for the Screen Actors Guild, and I couldn't work for WWE unless I was vaccinated because I was being tested.
You couldn't go to theaters in New York. There's so much you couldn't do if you didn't have your vaccination card.
Right. It was, and I look at both sides of it, and just I wouldn't have done things differently because it wasn't like I just aimlessly just. I did. I mean, I did the research that I could. You know, the fact that it always scared me, the fact that we came up with a vaccine so quickly. Because the only way you can come up with a vaccine is to reverse engineer the actual virus. The way
It was the
you could
SARS.
do
It was the SARS vaccination, but they took. I'm going to explain this incorrectly because my medical degree is so old. They took the component that you click in
protein.
specific to the disease, but the vehicle, the delivery system, all of it was the SARS-2 vaccine, I believe. And what they did was that piece that was the SARS connecting came out, and then the COVID connection went in, and that's why I think that's what contributed to the speed, because they didn't have to do it from scratch.
Or you can be the conspiracy theory and say that when they looked at the actual COVID virus that was being worked on Wuhan, it goes from like a German pharmaceutical company to something else, and then to the Bill and whatever her name is,
Melinda.
Melinda Gates Foundation. So it's just 2 years earlier, he's saying the only way that this world's going to make it is if we lose 3 billion people. And so you always,
Make an interesting film. I don't know if I
yeah.
buy it, but
Spielberg already did Contagion, so it's
we still don't know where it came from. But that's not unusual if you look at the.
no.
If it takes decades sometimes to have an inkling of where.
I
So
always thought
AIDS,
that
they still.
yeah, I always thought that Tom Jones was the original host. Can't prove it.
The original host of.
COVID.
Sure, why not? Jones is cool, man. You can't fuck with Tom Jones, man.
That's
He's
my
not in
mom's
Kevin Hart's
favorite.
class. He's cool. He's got creds everywhere. And everyone in the audience here did their job by going to clickthisTV.com and becoming part of the 11 Soft Club for only $9.99 a month. Get to be part of our tapings every week. It is clearly the highlight of their weeks. I love reading their tweets when they come out of the room and while they're watching here. I get to hang with Uncle Kev and ask some questions and be part of the taping and the pre-show. And we're going to be doing a little special segment that our Click This people are going to learn about before our shows every week. So go to clickthisTV.com and sign up.